I honestly don't know why it is, but this time of year, every year in our homeschool journey, I feel like February is the hardest. And today I want to talk with you about ways that we can just protect ourselves, our homeschool, our lives, our sanity, and avoid some burnout. Welcome back to Making Everyday Magic. My name is Shanna, and if you are new here, we are a homeschooling family of 4. We are 9.5 years into our homeschool journey, so I definitely feel like I can speak on this because for 9.5 years, this has been true. Today, I want to talk with you just 5 suggestions on how we together can avoid homeschool burnout. Before I go any further, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me right on down in the comments or over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic. Now, before we get started, please do me a huge favor and let me know, have you found this to be true, that this season just is exhausting? It's hard. It's just, you don't want to. It's hard to just, it's almost like we're spinning tires or trying to walk through mud. It is hard. This is a hard season. And I feel like it hits about the same time every year. And I don't know if it just feels like consistently January has 187 million days, regardless of how things happen. We were gone a week and I still feel like January went on for 3 years. January is so long, and the next big break is spring break, if you take spring break, and it feels so far away. And I've counted the weeks just to be sure. It isn't, from when I'm filming this, it's only 6 weeks away, but it still feels forever. It is like this weird dark time of winter and darker weather, and you're inside more. I mean, we're even in a relatively warm climate, and it still is hard. It is hard. We have a lot of fun things. We had a vacation. We have some Girl Scout camping trips coming up, and it still just feels like this section of time in the school year. I don't know why. The new has worn off. It's not as much fun anymore. You're no longer reviewing part of your curriculum. You're in the thick of it and the meat of it, and things are due and deadlines and testing and evaluations. And I just don't know why it all tends to just kind of converge into this area of time where we're all just feeling it, and it's not feeling great. So please go down to the comments. Let me know, do you feel it? And what is something that you do to help avoid it? Do you have like a vitamin D happy lamp or something? Or do you shorten your days? Do you push back start time? Do you just do more fun projects? What is it? Here are my 5 ways, the 5 things that I'm going to tell you help me to avoid burnout, which I don't even know if avoid burnout is the right thing to say. Protect our happiness in this amount of time, ensure that we've got the margins for peace and for happiness. One way that we do this, and I talked about it this week, last week, and I will talk about it forever, every time I sit down and plan anything, anytime something isn't going my way, flexibility. We build flexibility into our plan on purpose, and we do that so that we can do the fun thing, we can have the play date, we can go to the zoo, we can go to the field trip, we can enjoy the gorgeous sunny day weather. We can start later, we can end earlier, we can go out of town. I build it in. I build weeks in on purpose. We homeschool 4 days a week on purpose so that we can have the time without feeling that overbearing weight of failure and responsibility. The time is there for us to use as we see fit and to really preserve and enjoy learning, to enjoy our homeschooling and educational experience. I put blank time in there for the zoo, for homeschool day at the downtown aquarium, for fun, for sleeping in, for a pajama day, for movie day, for the entire and sole purpose of just not feeling the heavy weight of having to do something every single day. Okay? So first and foremost, build flexibility into the plan on purpose. Okay? Number 2, we protect our relationships before productivity. It is more important to me that I like the people in my home than it is that I homeschool the people in my home. First and foremost, this is home school. I am very first a parent, which to me actually is an educator in many respects, because that's your first job as a parent. But I am a mom before I am a homeschool teacher. And it is important to me that my kids get along and that everybody in my home is happy and on board. I would rather have conversations about what they're reading than have them do a bookmark or a worksheet. I would rather we sat down and read aloud instead of ensuring that they could do all of that on their own. For me, the relationships and the familial bonds is one of our primary motivators for why we choose to homeschool. So I'm going to protect those relationships over productivity, and it's going to be most important to me. I've already said this week that last week we just didn't. I didn't feel like we could. There were other things that needed to happen before we focused heavily on our normal school routine, and I genuinely feel like everybody in my home was better served for it. Number 3, we let seasons be seasons. There are times, I've mentioned this, my kids are busy. They do fun things. I've had different things going on. We have adjusted, honestly, since we started, our homeschool calendar around intense personal seasons. So taking more time off around Christmas, if we've got shows and recitals and just other obligations, and making sure we're done by early May so that dance recital season can have that time and dedication devoted to it without trying to split hairs and put, just as much energy into all the things, because you can't fill all the buckets the same. So for us, we let seasons be seasons. Some seasons are busier. Some seasons need a little bit more grace. Some seasons need a little bit more flexibility. Some seasons mean that we are homeschooling out of the hours that we normally would. And even now, some days, Wednesdays right now, are our busiest day of the week. We are actually currently leaving earlier to accommodate a special interest of one of my learners. We have a really, really busy Wednesday morning, but that means, you guys know, we start at 9. These days on Wednesdays, honestly, we are done by 9 because they recognize how important it is to get those things in. So I'm heavy teaching Monday, Tuesday. They are solo working Wednesday and starting earlier so that we can accommodate all of the fun and amazing and special things that we want to do on Wednesdays that are out of the house. And so we are just in a season where it has to be that way. And we want it to be that way, to be quite honest with you, but we are allowing that. Instead of making us feel stressed and whatever, we're just adapting. And so we know that this is the season. It is what it is. My kid had a lot of shows, student matinees, so during the day shows around Christmas. And 1, I don't know how brick and mortar kids do things like that. But 2, it just meant that we had to be more flexible, and that is okay. This is just a season that's requiring that of us. And honestly, I say a season, but it's kind of getting to where this is our progression forward will be more of a homeschool alignment focus on extracurriculars. And I don't quite know how to say that, but it is what it is. Number 4, we zoom out when things feel hard. So if something isn't working, instead of nosing down and we're just going to push through and this has to be what it is, it's really important to pause and to say, what about this isn't working? And this is where, you guys know I have said many times, my pivot or quit it. If something isn't working, if I can pinpoint a thing that is going to turn the corner and help us find success, then I will do that. But if I sit and I analyze and I talk it over with my husband, I talk it over with everybody I know, and I come here and I share it with you and I put it to the group, if I can't figure out the thing that is going to help us find success, I quit. Sometimes quitting is the right answer. So finding an opportunity to really zoom out and say, okay, is this, is our math work during the day being impacted by our bedtime at night? Like, is there something, if we zoom way out and we look at it objectively and just say, what could I possibly align with what is happening right now? What triggers can I see? What is impacting what pressures are put on this thing that we're not finding success with? If I can zoom way out and say, oh, we need to meal prep lunch, that would save us a ton of time. If I can zoom way out and say, oh, okay, we need to pack our bags the night before. As I said, Wednesday's really busy. So if I can pack the bags the night before and be ready to leave by 8 a.m., that's going to make a huge difference. So zooming out and saying, is it a bad day or is it a bad system? Is it a bad curriculum or is it a bad setup for the curriculum? Is it a bad start time? Is it a bad bedtime that's impacting our start time and not allowing us to find maximum success in our day? zooming out when things feel hard and just giving it, start at the top level, okay? Pretend you're a drone and look at the whole thing. What is it? And if you can find something, or even just a seed of something, go down that trail, figure it out. Maybe it's something crazy, like your kid doesn't tolerate milk as well at breakfast, and that's impacting your day later. You never know where these connections can be. One of my favorite stories that is not related, but kind of related, but go with me down this journey. My dad had heard this story about, it was a mechanic who was recounting that he had someone come in, and this woman's problem with her car was that she would stop certain days of the week at like an ice cream shop or a gas station or whatever to pick up ice cream to take home for the weekend or kids or whatever. And sometimes when she came out, her car wouldn't start and she couldn't figure it out. They could not figure out what the correlation was, okay? And it turned out it was only when she got a certain flavor of ice cream. That certain flavor of ice cream wasn't as popular. It was kept in the back of the store. So when her car was turned on and then turned off for what happened to be that longer chunk of time, it impacted its ability to restart because of whatever was wrong with it. So she figured out, or they finally figured out, that the issue with the mechanics of her car was correlated, not caused, correlated to that specific kind of ice cream because of the length of time that it had her car be off before trying to restart it. And so this is one of those times that I feel like that story kind of applies, because you need to look at the bigger picture. So zoom out, because if she just said, oh, I can't restart my car, sometimes that's not as helpful. But once they figured out that it was directly related to a timing issue, they could better pinpoint the actual problem. And so that is what I want you to take with you, the moral of the story. And also you should stop and buy ice cream. That one's for you. Okay. Number 5, and this one's really important, and it's really important that you remember this because you are a home before you are a school. Home, school. Choose rest before you need it. And that is something that we did last week when we required flexibility. When I travel hard, okay? I go big, I go hard, I get my money's worth. I want to see every single little thing that there was, and I want to be able to check that thing off. And then I feel like I have completed it and I won and I am excited and I enjoy that. And my family knows this and they travel with me just as hard. They don't always love it, but they have bought into my plans and my systems and they enjoy the ride, so they come along. But after that vacation, we needed some rest. We're tired. And that means, and often is the case, we need to rest before we require rest. And that means that we can sit down and we can relax and we can enjoy some time off. And you guys know I recently shared about date nights, which is a great way to do this, to reset and relax, especially as a family. But if I can allow us to do 4 school days a week instead of 5, we can go longer. If I can allow us to get started a little earlier, we can finish a little earlier, do more fun, have more entertainment, do things that we love and enjoy. By choosing rest before we are desperate for it, I genuinely feel like it helps us maintain our stamina for the year, which, like I said, in this season of burnout, this is maybe one of the biggest things where we are protecting the margins. We are allowing for rest and recuperation and creativity and curiosity and passion and just enjoyment of the people in our home and of our home before we are desperately seeking that love and attention and need for it. Guys, I hope that as this burnout season is in full swing, because by the time you're seeing this, it's probably mid-February, and you are deep in the thick of it. You are about halfway from Christmas as you are to spring break, and it will get better, and the days will get sunnier, and the sunshine will get longer, and the snow will melt, and the ice will stop happening, and it will be glorious. But if you need it, go to the zoo, enjoy spring, get out of the house, go for a walk, go for a bike ride, shorten your days, do whatever it takes to protect yourself and your family and save your sanity during this burnout season. These are 5 ways that I do that. We build in flexibility to the plan. We protect our relationships over productivity. We let the season be the season and we recognize it for what it is. We zoom out when we feel things are hard, and we choose rest before we are desperate for it. These are the 5 ways that we are protecting our family, our homeschool in this season of burnout. And guys, I hope that you found any of this helpful, entertaining, or informative. If you did, please scroll down, hit that big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me right on down in the comments or over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic. And please take the opportunity while you are down there to share with us. Are you feeling it? Is this your first year? Have you done this for 20 years? And it is just always the case, because in my experience, there's just this weird time of year where it just feels like it will go on forever and ever and ever and ever. But I can assure you, the sun will dawn again, and it is time almost for the wonderful spring weather, and it will come for you, and we will make it, even if right now it feels impossible. So guys, share with us down below. Let us know, how'd you get out of it? Do you feel it? What do you find to still enjoy things? Let me know. Bye guys.